somebody who I've seen, well, literally, and like the rest of the world, some artists you grew up with. In the generation before us, we grew up with Shah Rukh Khan. In our generation, and such a large generation, actually, for them, she was a source of inspiration because she came from nowhere, dominated a very, very difficult world to dominate, that was television, then jumped into film and the whole world said why and how and what, and thereafter made her own mark. Prachi Desai, thank you so much for joining me.
Ah, Salil, you're just the sweetest. Thank you.
No, but it's the truth. Listen, I remember there used to be a time when people had shelf lives of 5, 7 years, maybe 10 years. A lot of people actually, I was just reading the other day, Abhishek Bachchan, for example, he's celebrating 22 years now. He's loving this new phase of his career, 22 years. But you know what? People forget also, you also
But
more
he's
than 10,
only like what,
15 years.
30?
No. But you've spent a considerable amount of time and always been choosy. I've never seen and known that you could have, but you chose not to. You could have signed and been a Govinda of the television generation, moved into film and done the same. You chose not to. Can I know now why you chose to be so choosy?
Ah, is there really a straight answer for that?
No, but it's an individual answer, whatever you choose.
Of course, of course. What do I say? I think it, I think for me, it was always important to just do good roles, or I guess roles that make sense to me more than anything else. It was very important to work with good people. I think I realize more about that now after having done an X number of films. It's always like important to work in a good setup. But more than all of that, I think I was always looking to sort of expand, to push boundaries, to like take on new risks. But that's something I was feeling like there's a lack of in terms of opportunity. So, which is what made me even more choosy because of course, I mean, the kind of roles were getting a little repetitive. Not
Yeah.
exactly because out of all of that, what I had to do is if someone picks up, say, two or three of my films, they shouldn't feel like, oh, I was the same in any of them. They should feel like, oh, this is different. And
Yeah.
up to an extent, I think up to an extent, I was able to do that. But I think OTT has been a big blessing in terms of that. I guess people like me who want to do different kind of stuff, we really have that now, because with OTT there's no limits. There are no
Yeah.
boundaries, and in this case,
I have to say,
specifically,
congratulations. ये तो अलग ही boundary cross हो गया. I love it. This is the like the other end of the spectrum.
yeah.
But I want to come to that. But I have to come to that. A lot of people, when they age in the industry, they understand, they mature, their style changes. As a person, Prachi hasn't changed too much. Even, I remember, I haven't met you for a while, but I remember when I used to go to theaters, when you were doing that slipper ad, I used to see you all the time, okay? So I used to see Prachi, and now I think Tapsi does it. So when we used to watch a lot of you, I used to just remember there are very few that have not changed their style and the way they are, and then choose to change it on screen. That's a great part. That balancing act, sometimes, it can get to your head. It never got to your head. It's not like, it changed, which is another great thing that वो ठहराव होता है ना एक्टर में वो सिर्फ ऑन स्क्रीन जरूरत नहीं होती रियल लाइफ में भी जरूरत पड़ती है I think you managed to get a little bit of that mix. Am I right on that account?
Full marks to you for this amazing observation. I think in my personal life, I just like being staying real to myself, because I mean, who do I have to kid, right? But which is why I think I like to like bring in the variety with the roles I play. And I know that I get a sort of like a hard time for this from everyone that I'm working with. They feel like I'm a bit reclusive, or it's just that I'm not out there so
Yeah.
much. I just feel like it doesn't come to me completely naturally, which is why it's a bit of an effort. Um, but it's okay. I'm living and learning, and I'm trying to change a little bit of that. And I guess if I can just do more projects each year, then automatically that changes. So I guess through my work, maybe I'll be able to do more of that. But yeah, the person that I am, um, I think that is why you feel like, yes, this girl is sort of still the same that I met, a couple of years ago, because I don't let things get to me, and I think I'm comfortable with who I am.
But that works, and that's the reason why I think you're still able to stay fresh. I mean, a lot of people don't understand how you can get jaded. There are two people that in the industry sometimes that get jaded: A, actors who work too much; B, casting directors. Casting directors, I think these days sometimes just don't understand because so much work is going on. And I've met one of these casting directors recently. And he said, भाई भूले बिसरे जो वुडवर्क में मर चुके थे उनको भी वापस लाना पड़ रहा है because there's no acting, there are no spots available for a lot of the other actors that are working so hard. It's not like uh, we had forgotten them. It's just that there's so much work out there. Now when casting directors come to you, forget forensic, for example. This is incredibly different, which I'm going to come to. Otherwise, are they able to throw away the Prachi sitting in front of them and just imagine you in a role when the producers and when the directors also start to think of you? Or is that always going to be tough for you to break?
No, Salil. It's still uh, it's still tough. I would say that no, there is no points I'm giving the casting directors, unfortunately, at this point. No marks to them. No marks to them, Salil, because for the longest time, the only roles they come to me with are for playing mothers of a mother of like 15-year-old children and stuff like that.
Oh
And
God.
there is no, as an actor, there's no problem in playing anything, in playing,
Yeah.
a person far beyond your age, playing an 85-year-old woman or whatever that is. But there
Right.
needs to be like uh, something that I feel like I'm getting out of it, more than more than them just getting like a known face or something like that. So I feel like it's been a conscious effort, but I'm being able to do this because all the variety that's coming, it's coming directly from the directors. So I think that
Yeah.
the writers and directors are the people who actually at this point, I would say I'm commending, because they're thinking of this like out of the box. And that's really amazing. I guess they were spoiled for choice, or their choices
Yeah.
were limited before this, because there's a certain way that theatricals work. People are
Yeah.
scared of taking risks. They don't want to really risk it there. There's a lot at stake. But when it comes to OTT, I guess even the audience is sort of keen to see something different, which is why these people are being able to make these choices. And personally, if you ask me, I think cross casting is something that has always been the most amazing to watch.
Yeah.
In everything. So I just keep wondering, why aren't we doing enough of that here?
How does Vishal come to Prachi Desai and say this doctor ka role, where there's going to be two Prachis in one, and it's not a double role, and it's such an interesting character? You have to have said, really? Like, this is me you're offering this to? Did that happen to you?
Really, with like those three zooms, which were
Yeah.
going into my face.
Yeah.
um, you know, so Vishal rang me up and said that there's something interesting that I want to talk to you about. There's a film that I'm making, and this is this sort of, he just in a line he said, this is the plot. He didn't tell me anything about the story, and
Hmm.
he said that you're the only one that we have in mind for this. You're like, we've written this for you because in the original film this role is not there.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay, what could they have written for me, really? And when I heard it,
Yeah.
I was impressed, and I said, wow, I mean, this is something that I've always wanted to do, but for someone to actually have done it. I'm sure, Salil, you watched this film called Orphan, and you know what
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
when I say
Yes.
this. I mean, how brilliant is that, right? How brilliant is that thought, that idea, that
Yeah.
casting, that everything about it. Um, so, personally, those are the kind of films that I enjoy watching the most.
But those are dark, scary films, okay? Those are like, eh. Vishal is a director, he likes dark, okay? Yeah, yeah, very, very hardcore. And if I met you, I would not think, like for me, you'd be like, your smile and everything, and a lot of people say this also. Prachi, to हमारे Juhi Chawla जैसी है, and you'd study saying, I like these kind of dark psychological
I love
cinema.
Juhi Chawla. Yeah.
but 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 it's such a contrast. So is it tough? I mean, this portrayal, of course, has to be tough. Now, break me through the process of when you're trying to like do this, because there's a part of you that is saying that that is totally off. And normally, what happens is some part of your character you'll use real life ka hota hai. In this, nahi hai, zero.
Or so you think, Salil. Maybe I just woke up one day and I was like, "Oh, you think I'm a nice girl? Just you wait now." um, what do I say? I think as a genre, this is something that always interested and excited me. I think as an actor, inherently there's certain things that just come to you. You don't know how to explain it. It's just there, and that's why I guess there is this inclination that there is. But yes, when you talk about a role like this, specifically in terms of the complexities of it, or just I mean the layers that this role has, that's mad. So for me, I'll tell you the interesting part of this. Of course, I had to read up. I mean, I had to know. I personally chose to read up on all of these, all of this information, like data or whatever that I could gather, because I had to first make sense of this for myself. If I was able to, make sense of it in my own head, then I could probably, sort of
Convince
portray,
others.
yeah, put it out there on
Yeah.
screen. Um, but yeah, how do you make sense of someone who's out there brutally killing children, right? Whether it's juvenile crime, whether it's serial murders, whether it's um, abuse, like all of that. It's a very
Yeah.
uncomfortable place to kind of go into. But I did read up on it, and the beauty of all of this is that in real life, it makes no sense whatsoever when you read up on these incidents and these crimes and things. Sometimes there is no motivation, even there just isn't. But that's how the human psyche works. So for me, I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense, but I'm doing a movie, and here we are supposed to make sense of everything, because that's the only
Yeah.
way the audience will accept it. They're not going to accept someone who just decides to pick up a knife one day and I mean, finish off someone. So here we needed like a back. I had to think of a backstory, the motivation, probably think of what this person went through in their childhood, a young age, and just making up really uncomfortable scenarios, thinking of all of that.
I'm very proud that you've done that, because a lot of people, when they come out and look at performers, you have what you like doing, what is your comfortable zone. A lot of people have spent careers in Bollywood, never got out of their comfortable zone, and it's worked for them. Audiences have liked it, it's worked for them. Even though you spent some time in the industry, your Bollywood career is always, I feel, 50-50. Sometimes you're allowed to take off, sometimes you don't. And in spite of that, you take all these risks. Prachi, it's really tough to take risks, because today, validation is in the comments section below. In the big screen, people come out, they'll say it. When people love it, are you swayed completely? Is it hitting you? When people say, no, I didn't like this, maybe I didn't like that, maybe I didn't like this, does that hurt you anymore? Does that?
um no, I think, Salil, you just live and you grow, and also I think you just start appreciating different opinions way more. And I think you also sort of respect the fact that everyone is going to feel differently about everything.
True.
Be it the most amazing cuisine on this earth, there are going to be people who still don't like it.
Yeah.
Be it, I think anything that we talk about. So it's crazy, people are always going to feel differently about it, but what is important is that you don't let that stop you from growing, or from surprising yourself, because I feel like I always knew that there was a lot more that I could do, but I was not comfortable with just boxing myself in say a certain kind of role that people were very comfortable watching me in, I will still go back and do it very comfortably and happily and all of that. But I need this variety. Like I want to
Yeah.
do this kind of stuff, and um, I want to channel the inner crazy for sure. So I
No, this is in the right direction. This is completely in the right direction. You should do this and so many others. But tell me something, does in this current world, I've heard money can be a really big motivator because everyone seems to have a lot of it to provide to the actors. Has that ever been a motivating factor for you to choose a role or do something in a certain way for some time?
Salil, आप full ulta बोल रहे हो.
Nothing.
Because the last I know, see, from when I've been working, it's always, oh, recession hai, oh, COVID hai, oh, theaters have shut, oh, now there's another problem. So there's always some problem. Um, no, I'll be honest. Money is not the only driving factor for sure. If that was, then I know that I would be doing like at least 5, 6, 10 projects a year. But that's not something that makes me choose my roles. Of course, having said that, it doesn't mean that I sell my talent for free. No, never. But I think it's a whole deal. Like the role has to matter. The set of people that I'm working with is really important for me. And then of course the monetary gains out of that, apart from like all of that setup. So yeah, it's
It's a full package. Today's world,
but it better be
It's
a good
very tough.
package.
no, I know you're getting a good package. I'm sure they're giving you a very good package. But another part of the package, Prachi, is also this godforsaken social media. It can drive you into great stardom. It can influence people if they've seen a different photo shoot of yours, maybe to look at you in a different light. It can also drive you to the point where you can get depressed if people start trolling you. It can also, unfortunately, drive you to a point where today, if you're not really seen too much, this is the platform where, say, this film, Forensic, is also released. So what I'm saying is, how are you dealing with this current world? Because you were one of the first originals, because television ends up giving a huge stardom base to social media. But once you leave that, you go away, you come and you go. How are you dealing with that right now? It can make an actor very insecure on many counts. Are you comfortable with it?
So here's the thing. You really have to have the inclination and the art of being able to learn how to use this in your favor. Um, you have to treat this like a job, like a part of your job, as well as just like have fun out there. The thing is that with someone like me who's like a private person, who's not really out there, who's a bit shy, and who likes to sort of, not really be out there while I'm not talking about a project. So for someone like me, that becomes difficult, and which is why, yes, I am still living, learning. I'm having a slightly hard time because everyone around me definitely. I mean, they keep encouraging me to be more active on social media, but it's just that I don't know what about it.
Dance a little bit more, sing a little bit more. That's what they want. Everyone wants that, right?
See, basically, everyone just wants entertainment. Okay, now I mean, all the time, everyone's not going to get entertainment. But I mean, I'm just kidding. But it's a part of your job now. That's what it is. Because it's also like um, a prerequisite as well for
Yeah.
a lot of casting, for a lot of things. It's surprising if you like ask around more. There are people who are not on social media, and they're like, the casting directors really want to see what we have out there on social media, and that will really influence their choice and things like that. So like I said, it can be used to your advantage. Having said that, it's like a hit of dopamine, right? Every swipe is
Yeah.
just like whoa, whoa, whoosh. It's a lot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. So you have to also know, like, that this is not the real world. This is a pretense as well. And yeah, as long as you don't have to go to like rehab for it.
But I'll tell you, the industry's gone into rehab because of this. Because it's not translated for the last 4 months. into box office success, and all these millions of followings, unfortunately, haven't bought in the kind of return that a lot of producers and even directors and casting agents expected. So there again is where the problems now become. How do they trust this? How do they trust the metrics? Audiences will change over time. Now you've got two options. The South has actually taken a very good call. As we speak, the Tamil industry has decided 50 days is the minimum period that they're going to take from release of in the big screen to OTT. 50 days. That's almost 2 months. So they're sticking to that. Rajamouli sir was actually asking for 3 months. And I think that's going to be very important. I think maybe that's also going to be a little tough world to live in, right? Big screen, small screen, to get numbers in. When you speak to friends around you, are they worried?
Of course, yes. I think the last couple of months have definitely been eye openers. It kind of also is a reflection on things that we were taking for granted or we were just
Yeah.
mistaking. I mean, for example, um, I know a lot of your friends would have told you this, back in the day, as in just a couple of years ago, before OTT and everything, when
Yeah.
we used to go promote, I'm talking about it like as
Back
if
in
it's
the
like,
day.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like it.
Yeah.
Everything pre-COVID feels like back in the day. Okay, but
Yeah.
when we used to promote films, and they took us to malls and
Yeah.
you know places like that. It was very early that we all realized that all those people who are coming there to give you a shout out at the mall, or to give you their love or encouragement or whatever that is, they're actually not walking into the cinema hall purchasing tickets for you.
True.
And I don't know why this was such a hard thing for people to understand or learn, but we still kept doing that for the longest time. And now
Yes.
now I guess they sort of know that, yeah, this is not the right kind of promotion, or I mean,
Yeah.
this is not the way you excite people or like get attention in that sense. Similarly, I guess with social media, people thought that, oh, because I mean, followers is what actually reflects in the cinema halls, or in ticket sales or ticket purchases. But that's really not what it is. And I think that is also because of a lot of overuse of it,
Yeah.
too much overuse. I think people feel like they really have an access to you. It's it's become a confusing zone. And I think people are really sort of taking stardom and all of that for granted. I mean, I think producers and directors now just need to sort of focus on the stories that they're bringing forth, more than anything else, because everything else is secondary. It really is secondary. And I think the sooner we learn that, the better it's going to be for everyone. Which, of course, if you see the kind of films that are being appreciated by the audiences right now, there's a lot of entertainment in those. And I
Yeah.
guess right now
Yeah.
that's what people are looking out for, because these last couple of years have been very hard on everyone, and they just want to be entertained. So if they
Yeah.
want to spend their bucks on it, one has to really fulfill their wish, which is to be entertained. And yeah, no half-hearted stories, no half-hearted writing and characters, or filmmaking is going to fly.
And I think this is the right zone. We need to backtrack, we need to restudy, we need to realign, and then maybe 23 is when the big power and push will happen, and also in the second half of 22. You're on the right track. I can't wait to see you in person, because like I said, the access is limited to you, so the excitement is as much to see you again after so long. Thanks so much for joining me.
I think we'll meet soon. We'll chat about Dhoota very soon. That's my first Telugu project. So I'm nervous and
Wow.
I'm excited as well. But see,
Yeah.
if I keep doing projects like soon enough, then we'll get to chat that much more, I guess.
100%. I'm going to see you very soon, Prachi. Thank you, darling. Take care.
Thank you, Salil.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye, darling. Take care. And very important thing, you got to get your head screwed on right, because today social media is a currency that can be used on social media. It doesn't translate into ticket sales. It doesn't translate into your power on, say, the big picture. It only translates into the power and the arrogance that you'd have over somebody else with lesser followers. It's not about the followers, it's about the real people that actually follow your work. So try and concentrate on that, things will work a lot better. So Forensic it is, which is out. Radhika Apte, of course, back in action after many years. Vikrant Massey, who seems to be there in every single film these days, rocking it, and Prachi Desai, who plays the villain in this. I'll see you soon. Take care and bye-bye.